Keith, did you hear that it's more like 3 of the new Dad Rock's favorite bands just got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
You mean Phil Collins and Billy Idol?
Two college radio DJs during the 90s, hosts Keith and Steve helped expose bands like Nirvana, Pavement, and PJ Harvey. They went to shows, interviewed musicians, and reviewed albums for various scenes and papers. They work security at concerts, and once even did load in for fish. Now they're dead. When you want to explore, listen to music or take a trip down memory lane.
No. I was talking about
Oasis and Luther
Iron
Vandross.
Maiden.
Oh, sorry.
No, and it wasn't Sade or the Wu-Tang Clan either. Longtime listeners know Iron Maiden and Joy Division / New Order, that's why I said sort of 3, are finally long overdue, both being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, congratulations
2026 edition.
to Iron Maiden
In addition,
and New Order, Joy Division. You know, I gotta say, Joy Division becoming New Order is maybe the most dad rock thing imaginable. I mean, your singer tragically dies, so instead of replacing him, you just say, new company, same employees, man. It's like basically a corporate restructuring with synthesizers.
they definitely did change their sound, even though it was the same people. And the guitarist started to sing.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about this? Like, Phil Collins and Genesis is similar. So Genesis was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2010, and that included everybody, including Peter Gabriel. But Phil Collins was just inducted as well. He was the drummer when Peter Gabriel was around, but then he became the singer during... I assume he did drums too in the recordings, but live they would have a different drummer.
No, he played live too and sang. He's one of those rare drummers.
Really? That's so weird. They'd put his drums up front on stage? They had to, right? I don't know. Anyway, we have to go to the film. But yeah, Joy Division New Order is... I don't know. You think that's good or bad that they did both? Was it lazy? Was it you had to do it? Was it to honor the singer?
Well, I think they're both worthy. And it's kind of like when bands include other members of bands that, you know, were in it during a different part of the era.
Yeah.
Iron Maiden's a perfect example. Like, they had Paul Di'Anno was their original singer for their first two albums. He passed away back in 2024. He was included, but Bruce Dickinson left the band in the mid-90s, and Blaze Bayley put two albums out with Iron Maiden in the 90s before Bruce Dickinson came back in 1999, and the rest is history. But initially, Blaze Bayley wasn't included.
Wait, you said initially. Does that mean he was eventually included?
Eventually, they amended the nomination to include him, and, you know, some people would argue that part of the reason it took this long for Iron Maiden to get inducted into the Hall of Fame was because of the two albums with Blaze Bayley.
Yeah. I mean, are you being judged for your high watermark or your low watermark? Or your consistency?
Well, it's interesting because a lot of the bands in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame only had a couple albums. You know, Billy Idol, how many albums did he have?
Way more than you think.
What was...
Way more than you think.
Right, but what was... And how much mediocrity is out there? How, you know, Iron
all
Maiden is
of
still
it.
packing stadiums around the world. And Billy Idol, I'm sure, is still a pretty decent draw, but nowhere near that level.
Yeah, no, he's playing the Man Center.
What was Billy Idol's first band? Gen X. They weren't inducted.
Yeah, actually, this Billy Idol one has me.
So I think it's because, to answer your question then, I think New Order and Joy Division were both worthy, and it made sense to do it at the same time.
And
even though Peter Hook's not going to show up at all.
Oh, he's not? Or he didn't?
No, he hates them. He's like...
No, I know
he wants nothing to do with those guys, so he doesn't even want to go on stage.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to accept that.
We were talking about this before the show, but about tickets you bought but you didn't go see. I had Peter Hook and the Light tickets, and I wasn't able to go. I think I was able to sell them, though, and make my money back, which was good. But he plays every year, kind of on the same pattern like the OCs do, where like every year in the same month in Philadelphia, you can pretty much guarantee, I think it's early fall, September, October, that Peter Hook will be coming through.
I think 97% of concerts take place in September or October.
Not 97%, but I'm with you.
That's what it feels like, though. Every September and October, I'm like, there's shows 5 days in a row that I want to see. And this time of the year, I'm like, I don't know.
I agree.
I'm supposed to see Ronci Pazuzu this weekend, but I don't know if that's going to work out.
Do they do the same or different set list?
They play the same set list.
Does Iron Maiden play the same set list? Yeah.
Yeah, they stick to it to a T, and they don't even like jam out any of the songs or anything. They just, they try to approximate what is on the album, but given their age and their years, they, I feel like live they're starting to like how old is too old?
Well, okay, I mean, to your point, how old is too old?
When I saw them in 2014, great. 2016, 17 is when I kind of started noticing the wear on the tires. And then certainly, I saw them again, 23? What year is it? 24 maybe I saw them. And Bruce can't say. I saw Bruce Dickinson in concert about a year ago in September, by the way. It's not great, and he's in his 60s. He was born in 58, so how old does that make him?
Old.
Call it 68 years old.
Jesus. Oh wait, how many singers did Iron Maiden have?
Bruce Dickinson, Blaze Bayley, and Paul Di'Anno.
Okay.
All of whom, by the way, real birth name, Paul.
Oh,
well, those are the three on the albums.
Thanks. This reminds me of that One Direction episode where your daughter knew every detail about the lives of the members of One Direction.
Yeah, but they did have a number of some singers before they had albums as well. But yeah, so they're definitely getting old. Nico McBrain, their drummer, who's like 73, 74, he retired. He hasn't been playing on the last two tours.
Yeah, I'm fucking gonna retire by 74, I fucking hope.
Yeah, and that's the thing. These guys have the money. It really makes me question, like, how long do we keep propping these guys up? Like, the Rolling Stones still tour, and, Iron Maiden and Judas Priest still tours. Ozzy just retired last year, and I guess the rest of Black Sabbath.
Hold on, Ozzy died.
Right, but it was that he had the retirement show, and then 3 weeks later he died.
Perfect. I mean, not that I would do that with my job, but if I was a performer, an artist, that's how I would like to do it. Like, I'm done performing, I'm dead.
Well, and I guess the other thing is the retirement tours. How many bands have we heard retire? In fact, Ozzy Osbourne announced his retirement and went on the No More Tours tour, like back in 92 or something. He was like, in his early 40s. He
was 43, dude. That's younger than some startup founders right now. Imagine if Michael Jordan retired at 43 and then spent the next 33 years saying, actually, one more season.
Right, but I think you lose your athletic skills a little bit faster, so it's not necessarily an apt comparison. But the point is, at 43, like, that's the prime time for bands now. No one would consider slowing down at age 43. Like, look at Modest Mouse or Built to Spill or Pavement or any of those guys that are like in their 50s into their early 60s even. Like who did we just see? Afghan Whigs, Greg Dulli he either just turned 60 or 61 in May of 2026. And Jonathan Donahue and Grasshopper, the singer and guitarist respectively for Mercury Rev, who opened, are 59 and 60. I think one's 59, one's 60, and one's 61. Greg Dulli being the oldest at 61. And how old is too old?
Well, yeah, I think it's everything's in context. It depends is the answer. I think Greg Dulli nailed it. I think Greg Dulli was great. I am a little suspect about their set list. I am not as great an Afghan Whigs and all the other shit he did fan, but their set list has been very similar over many tours, and I just wish they would do more of this different songs. I wish they would be more like Modest Mouse, where they have like 40 songs that they pull up, play 20 a night, but they do the same 20 something songs a night. more or less.
Well,
But he was phenomenal, though. He was phenomenal. I mean, Gentleman fucking was terrific. But the Mercury Rev, man, I couldn't pay attention. It was weird.
I was very disappointed with the Mercury Rev set for two reasons. One, I saw them back in 99 at Bimbo's in San Francisco, or 2000 maybe it was, and they were amazing.
Yeah, I saw Mercury Rev.
To see them again.
Yeah.
And then there's been multiple times where paths crossed. I couldn't see them it's a show I had tickets to and didn't go to because anyway,
I have a lot of those also.
I was very excited to see them, and then they came out and did a weird ass set list and like a 10-minute cover of like a song by Traffic, like the band Traffic. You know, Steve Winwood's band from the early 70s.
Great.
And, you know, they played like a 50-minute set, and you know, they still managed to get 3 or 4 songs from Deserter songs.
Well, they have to.
But they're also promoting their All Is Dream 25-year anniversary, the album All Is Dream, which I would argue is like maybe their 3rd or 4th best album. But they didn't play anything from that, which I was a little surprised at. And then they played these really weird deep cuts. So maybe they're like, hey, I don't want to take anything from Greg Dulli and his show. We just want to play what we want to play, and they did. But back to the Afghan Whigs and their set list, I would say on the tour they play 20 songs a night. They probably rotated through 26 or 27.
Yeah, that sounds right.
With
I agree.
16 of them being the same.
I agree,
every night.
100%.
But from tour to tour, they do mix it up a bit. And I would argue that I could have put together a set list of as many songs and, you know, kind of in the same style, spanning the same albums, and come up with another set list that would be equally as good, featuring that same 20, you know, completely different 20-ish songs.
I agree.
And I think that's what their repertoire is. But yeah, from night to night, they don't adjust it much.
So, okay.
Like Philadelphia probably saw all but 2 of the same songs.
100%. So, okay, Modest Mouse is a bit different, and actually Pavement's a bit different in that way. Like you said, they can pull from 40 to 50 songs, and they play 20 songs a night. Whereas Afghan Whigs did 20 songs a night, pull from like 25 to 30 songs. I do think...
Right, per tour.
Yeah. I do think that's a miss on their part, because they have so many good songs, and I'm sure the musicians are good enough to be able to perform them. So I don't think it's lazy. I just think it's lack of, I don't know, man. You know, it's just a mistake. They just need better friends advising them to play more of their fucking awesome songs and rotating differently, because then I might go to a second show, right? I'm not sure the show was sold out, by the way. I mean, New York always sells out, so that doesn't count. But like Philly...
It was. I was concerned. It might not have been sold out. There was also a surprise, like Foo Fighters, like small club show that night, going against it.
Yeah, but small and surprise. I don't think it's that much. It's kind of like, what's that silly band with the polka dots? They're playing much bigger venues in New York than San Francisco. I mean, I don't live there anymore. Sorry, in Philadelphia. Like. Ours sold out quick, but it didn't sell out immediately. New York sold out immediately, multiple nights, and then they also added a third show in New York.
Well, they went to Brooklyn. They're playing Brooklyn Steel, which is like where PJ Harvey or Modest Mouse or Pavement would play.
No,
like that's how big that place is.
Yeah, but they actually have so their tour is actually 2 different tours. There's the early.
In the fall they're coming back with that.
Exactly.
But the more, what is it? Angine Porrine?
That's correct. Porrine. Like yeah, that's pretty good.
Honestly, if you listen to one song, you're like, this is fucking cool. And you see the visual, you're like, this is awesome. You listen to another song, you're like, this is awesome. This is great. But after 15 minutes, like, I don't know how much I could deal with it. Like, maybe as an opening act, so the whole show
100%
with their made-up language.
No. Oh, okay. Well,
what are they, like the band Magma?
This is where you and I agree to disagree, but also I agree with you. Like, so I'm going to their small show in Philly, and they're creating a much bigger show. I'm definitely not going to the second show because they're not going to do anything different. They can't. The first show is going to be great. I love the art aspect. I mean, I was in an art performance band. Fucking love that shit. But, like, I'm glad they're getting money. Like, that's fine.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. I love to see creativity rewarded. I like to see weirdness out there. And, you know, who knows? It might be a psyop.
Okay, you're adorable.
Might be a little bit more.
You're adorable.
Might be a little bit more legitimate.
Okay. Let's talk about how old is too old, or as I like to say, retirement. I mean, let's talk about bands who have retired. The most famous band that retired and unretired is LCD Soundsystem, right?
Well, I don't know that that's the most famous, but, you know, the whole Ozzy thing, back to Ozzy, he retired at 43, No More Tours tour. Then he had a retirement sucks tour 4 years later. And then in 2018, he had the No More Tours 2.
Oh my God,
and then,
that's so fucking lazy. That's so lazy, that title of that. Okay.
Yeah, and in between, he was playing with Black Sabbath. That would be the most famous. But you're right. LCD Soundsystem made a big deal when he retired, or, you know, James Murphy retired. MSG shows, like, you know, this is February of 2011. And the tickets, like, were going for $500. Madison Square Garden sold out show because he was never going to play again.
They should ask for a refund because that's just fucking crazy, dude. Because I was Madison Square Garden, right? And maybe it was the most indie thing ever. The audience paid insane prices to watch the band perform all their sadness about getting older, shit. And then immediately 5 years later, you know, they're back.
They released a Christmas single. They're playing festivals in 2016. And then American Dream, which is actually a pretty good album, came out in 2017. He hasn't done a lot since then, so it's almost like he wanted to sell out a show and then kind of become a recluse over the years.
So okay, I believe he meant it when he meant it. Like, there's a lot of weight on your shoulders. I mean, like, Neutral Milk Hotel has not come out of retirement. They've gone on tour, but I bet Jeff Magnum has written more songs that he plays for himself. I bet he plays music, but he ain't releasing it.
Yeah, I mean, is this like a, what's his face? Not Holden Caulfield. What's that author?
Oh, Salinger?
Yeah, is this like a J.D. Salinger situation where, you know, after he dies, we're going to get all these amazing novels?
Like Juice WRLD?
J.D. wrote nothing, or nothing has been released, and he died 20 plus years ago at this point.
I mean, okay, so there's artists and there's musicians, right? Like, so I'm going to say that, like, Nick Drake, Jeff Magnum, you know, artists. I'm going to say a band like Fish, musicians. Actually, maybe that's actually almost the distinction. If you think of them as a singer-songwriter artist, if they're in a band where you consider the band holistic, musicians. And that's two totally different things, because one leads off of songwriting, like with the story you're telling by yourself with your heart, and the other one leads off of how do these great musicians come together to make music.
So that you can retire and then unretire playing with your fans' emotions. Like Motley Crue, 2014-15, the retirement tour. They came back a few years later. They're on tour this year. Motley fucking Crue.
Dude.
They're too old, man.
No.
How old is too old? Motley Crue, too old.
Slayer, too old.
For those shenanigans.
Slayer's too old.
Slayer, I agree. So they famously retired November 30th, 2019. They played their final show in LA.
How do you know that?
I saw them a week or two before in Madison Square Garden with Jake on their retirement tour. But yeah, notice that timing. The end of November 2019, they retire.
COVID.
When does COVID come about?
Yeah.
They were holding that shit back. All the evil that they were releasing into the world, they stopped releasing it. There had to be a new source of evil, COVID.
Fascinating. You know, I just want to say this.
Yeah.
Retirement.
RK Jr., are you listening?
Retirement in metal means what retirement means in software. You announce you're done, disappear for a couple months, get bored, and then come back as a consultant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Slayer is a little bit more understandable. They've only played a handful of shows.
Oh, by the way, I don't mind that. So REM retired well.
Yeah.
REM said they fucking retired. And they've only been on stage, all of them together again, like a handful of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Slayer has only played. They have 2 shows scheduled for 2026.
Yeah, that's acceptable. Yeah, that's
that's it. So that's understandable.
It's still retirement.
Another one coming back out of retirement is Rush, and this is very controversial.
Whoa. But you're not the same band because one of your members have died. So you're not coming out of retirement. You're using the name Rush, but you're not Rush.
That's exactly
my
point.
Okay.
They are not Rush.
Okay. You can't be. You can't be a band that was around for 20 plus years. 3 guys, one's gone.
And it's not like he was, the quiet guy over in the corner. This is Neil Peart. Like, you can't replace him. I don't care how good you are. You're not that good. And Annika Niles, she has a very big shoes to fill, and good luck with that. I don't know. I don't know that I'm going to see them. I don't know that I need to. I did see them on their actual retirement tour back before we knew Neil had brain cancer. I say I'm not going to see Iron Maiden, and I think I said it on the last tour too. I got free tickets a couple days before the show, thanks Dan Rizzo. And this one, I think I can say with conviction that I'm not going to go see, even though the set list is amazing. The fact that they're too old. Iron Maiden, too old is too old.
Yeah,
You's old.
Dude, yeah. Iron Maiden in 1984 looked like they slept in crypts and drank gasoline. And then Iron Maiden now looks like 6 guys who own independent hardware stores, but still somehow, run on the stage and play the Trooper for 2 hours.
But speaking of running around stage, so when we're recording this is the last week of Stephen Colbert's show. And, just last night in real time here recording, he had David Byrne on.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think David Byrne refutes all of the things we just said about too old, being too old, hanging up your shoes, because this man is as young as ever.
Totally.
And I think still relevant. Kim Gordon, do you know how old Kim Gordon is?
Is she fucking 70-something?
She's like 73, dude.
Dude, she looks great.
She put out...
Yeah.
Not only does she look great, her new album
is the best
album this year.
The best album.
It's great.
Dude.
Yeah. And it's so funny, though. I asked, my kids, because I don't know what the kids do or think these days. And I asked Sadie, I asked her about the Kim Gordon song, and she's like, I'm like, does this sound modern? Does this sound current? Does it sound like what kids would listen to today? And she's like, no, it sounds like it's maybe from the early 2000s, like something you would listen to.
That's tough. I don't know. Maybe bands shouldn't retire. Maybe they should age naturally. You don't shut down a diner because the booths get worn out. You just accept the menu's the same. The coffee's still good. And some things are comforting because they're old.
And there's definitely comfort in going back and listening to those old Iron Maiden albums. I just don't know that I'm going to be going out, shelling out for the show.
Oh, totally.
Greg Dulli and Afghan Whigs, I will.
Yeah,
I'll gladly go see them. Tom Waits, that's another one. I think he bowed outright. He never had an official retirement, but
yes,
other than a benefit here and there,
yes,
he's only played a handful of shows. And by the way, did you see he has a new single with Massive Attack, another band who I thought was probably retired? Like they did a collab, and it's like, some anti-war single. It's called Boots on the Ground. Massive Attack just dropped with Tom Waits.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he played. Speaking of Colbert's last shows, he was David Letterman's last show, and he wrote a song for Dave as a goodbye present because he was a fixture on that.
That's awesome.
Late night television show for years. So.
Maybe the real answer to how old is too old is you're too old when your backstage rider looks less like drugs and whiskey, and more like probiotic yogurt, compression socks, and a note saying, "Please, no stairs."
The young bands, I think, have more staying power, and they have more longevity than the bands back in our day, and certainly during the 70s and 60s when, it was a new band or a new singer or a new group every couple of years. And, you put out 3 albums a year for 3 years, and then you were done. Look at the Beatles. That was like a 7-year period.
Dude.
And now, you can drag it out because you are having probiotic yogurt. Like, I'm sure King Gizzard does their share of psychedelics, but I think they're very professional when they're touring and on, stage. And, Are they gonna burn out and retire soon?
Well, I mean, they're mid-30s, and King Gizzard slowing down is hilarious. I mean, I know they drop 5 albums a year in 20 something, but like, and now everyone's acting like they're in hospice care because they drop 1 album a year. Like, they're doing just fucking fine.
Coming June, it'll be a full year since the last album. Although they did, I think, on Instagram say that there's something done.
Yeah, they have something with Billy Strings, I think. Well, he actually said
that's not no one's confirmed that.
That's true, but Instagram has this video. But he did say in an interview after his last tour that they had more material than ever, and that wasn't a good thing because they've always were doing multiple things at the same time. Mm-hmm. But hey, Steve, you and I are not getting younger. I mean, I might be, but you're not. We tell ourselves that artists improve with age because, well, we're aging. So it's kind of like we're telling ourselves that. But most musicians write their best shit, I don't know, in their 20s, right? It's rough. Imagine if my best Slack message to my company was 2008, and now everyone just like politely like reacts with the clapping emoji. Like it's got to be fucking brutal. Like how many bands have had kind of what bands were made at the oldest moment?
Like when you're old people, like when they were formed, like people were in their 40s or something.
Yeah, like so like Bob Dylan, like what Time Over Matter, Matter Over Time, whatever that was called. Like people love that album. He's pretty fucking old.
Time Out of Mind.
Yeah, thank you. Dude, our Radiohead, like OK Computer, they have to be 30 by then, but like people will argue for albums after that. There must be exceptions to the rule that, how old is too old.
Well, we're having a hard time thinking of them. But I'll argue some of them are still putting out great things. Kim Gordon is an example.
Kim Gordon is probably the example. Oh, Hawkwind.
David Byrne puts out
Byrne. Oh, you're good at this.
Hawkwind.
Yeah.
Hawkwind is still putting out compelling stuff.
Yeah, I would like to know how they're making music. I would like to hang out with those fuckers.
I would love it if they had like an awesome double album. Like they're the perfect band to have like a double CD collection that you get out of Columbia House and, listen to in your dorm room. But they don't have that. And, you can do one disc of, 70s and one disc of the rest. And the rest might be the better side of it.
Wow. Okay, that's amazing. I mean, okay, so a band that still has it, but isn't putting out new music. I mean, I saw Modest Mouse. They shocked me because
Modest Mouse has a new album coming out like right now. Like, check your record stores. Modest Mouse has a new album coming out imminently.
But it's been a while. Their last 2 albums, not very good. Maybe last 3 albums. Their live sets are 80-90% not the last 2 to 3 albums.
The last 2 times I saw Modest Mouse, the last 2 tours, they were both full album tours. One was Moon and Antarctica, and one was Lonesome Crowded West.
Exactly, when they were young and full of cum. I agree, fully agree. So this album is definitely going to be better than the last 2 to 3 albums, 100%, because they've released a couple singles. They're pretty good. But every time I go see them, they're great. It's interesting because they don't play the same songs in the same order, but they do have, say they play 15, 20 songs, they do have 30 songs they're playing on tour.
On tours when they're not doing full albums. But even so, the other 7 or 8 songs rotate.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, because bands should be able to do that. So how old is too old? I'm just going to say it depends. And by the way, it's not an ad for the adult diaper, but it could be.
We should get, that's a good sponsor idea.
Yeah,
actually,
obviously.
Yeah. So I can't answer the question, but like that Supreme Court justice said when he was defining pornography, I know it when I see it. And I think sadly there's some bands out there that I like and admire that have gone on too long.
Like this podcast.
Exactly. All right. Well, we recognize it's been a long time since the last episode. Hopefully the next one will be coming at you a little bit sooner. Thank you for listening. We are your new
dad.
The dad rock of new dad rock. The new dad rock.
Not the old dad rock, the new dad rock. Say it again with me. The new dad rock.
Seldom boring, the new dad rock will explain.